The Scott Ryfun Radio Show.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to turn up the mic. Yes, of course. You have to turn up the mic. That's one of those weird things that happens is you turn up the mic and it works. I don't know. So it's technology. What are you going to do? So hi, how are you? Good morning. It's midweek. I've been working on the lighting a little bit in here, just changing some things up a little, just experimenting with some things. So when you see what it is, this is it. This is it. All right. So again, we don't get our morning started without a thumbs up from Paul McClellan. I appreciate that. And good morning to you, Mr. Knapp. And good morning to you, Mr. Vicent. And good morning to you, Dirt Fisherman. Yes, we're welcoming Wednesday. Oh, don't get started with the camel. Yes, indeed. We're in the middle of the week already. Good morning to everybody. Glad to see everybody here this morning. And dead air. Good Lord. Oh, you're back. Oh, you're back from okay. Gotcha. No, we're good. We're okay. You just have to turn it up. Now I can't blame the other guy. Now, I'm here. Good morning to you. Good to have you here. Good to be here. Good to see you and be seen. So let's get into talking about some of the stuff that's going on in and around the area, etc. And we should start with the heartbreaking and the tragic. And also just a big I didn't even see that one. How'd that get highlighted? Did I do that? Give a guy a couple days off and he forgets how things work. And wait. Couple days off. I've been doing this this is 3 weeks now. I've been doing this. And I guess, maybe that's where I should start is with an update, because I had somebody text me yesterday. Is there an update? Is there anything new? And no, there's not anything new, sadly. It's a slow process. And we learned Monday that we didn't have all the documents we needed, and that iHeart owed us some documents. And so I reached out to get that, and I was told I would not be able to get them till today. So progress, and progress is sometimes a very, very slow, awful, horrible, terrible beast. And that's where we are right now. Sadly, it's slow and lumbering. But good to see everybody here. All right, there you go. Mr. Blocker chiming in from Jessup. Joy chiming in. Joy finally has her number. I think you have your number now, don't you, Joy? Diane, well, we love Diane. Number 70 on the South Georgia 40. Look at you, Jessica, going all the way to Daytona and watching. Good for you. Good for you. Lynn, hello, young lady. It's good to see you. And my dogs miss you. I'll just say that. Indeed, Brian. It's good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, Brian was in for a gig with us at one point. Good morning, good evening. Warm 165. Lovely. I don't know what that means, but I'll say okay. So let's get into some of this, because I got to tell you, there is a lot. As I mentioned, horrible, terrible, tragic thing. I'm sure you have seen this. Ashton Coleman Anderson. They were looking for him yesterday. It was Monday that I came on and told you that I'd heard someone had jumped from the bridge. And what had happened was somebody reached out to me, and it was a business owner who said, I'm told that our business vehicle had to be towed from the top of the bridge. Do you know anything about that? Because I'm concerned about my employee. And So from there, it kind of, we were trying to get some information, and the family did a very, very public thing, which I commend them for. I'll be honest with you. You don't see this a lot. And I've talked about this before, where I know that that suicide is a really deep hurt. It's a very personal thing, and a lot of people want to hide it and are ashamed of it and don't want to put it out there and don't want it discussed and that kind of thing. And I've always been an advocate for doing the exact opposite, because I feel like in discussing it, we can actually save people. We can actually bring some awareness to a situation or a subject, and that maybe other people will not go through it if we can talk about it, if we can have it out in the open. And not a lot of people will do that. And again, I say that because I've covered people jumping from the bridge for years. And I've had people get really angry when we've actually covered it because, oh, how dare you? It's my privacy, etc. So, I just want to say to this family, thank you for doing this publicly. Thank you for putting this out there. Thank you for letting us grieve with you, because this is a horrible thing. This should not happen to a family, should not happen to people. And unfortunately it did. And again, I don't know anybody in the community that wasn't aware this was going on, because they were very public about it. And I don't know anybody in the community that's not busted up about it, because it did happen. But also, it gives us an opportunity to have a conversation about what happens that leads someone down that path. How does someone get to that point? Because I don't believe the family saw it coming. And that is the way a lot of the times this goes. Is a lot of time family don't see it coming because people don't talk about it. People have been taught over the years you don't talk about it, and and shame, and I just, again, and I want to open up with a real heavy thing here, but I just commend the family, and I say that we were all pulling for you when you were searching, and we obviously pray for you now, and whatever people in the community can do, I'm sure they will step up and do, because that's the kind of place this is. And I got to tell you, I hope that this leads to some conversations with people, and I hope people sit back, and people who are contemplating this kind of thing sit back and see this and see the hurt that their relatives and their friends all go through, because it's you're not solving anything when you do that. You're not solving anything. And any problems that you're having and that you're going through, that you're experiencing, okay, you don't have to deal with them anymore, but everybody else has to deal with so much more. Again, I appreciate it when people do this out in the open and when it's done in the public. I think it's good for everybody. And again, we certainly give our prayers there. Woodbine, just down the road, Natalie Pirantonis was arrested after her 1-year-old child was found unconscious inside their Camden Caney residence during the early morning hours Monday at approximately 4 a.m. Camden County E911 Center received a 911 call reporting the child was unresponsive, prompting immediate response from the Camden County Sheriff's Office, Kingsland Police Department, which is our buddy Rick, and Camden County EMS. And gee, look at there. There's fentanyl. So the child was unresponsive through no problem or fault of their own, or through no real, inborn inherent medical issue, other than there was fentanyl in the place. And again, we know the issues with fentanyl. And hopefully there's some arrests there besides just, we've got a child who's issue. Well, we do have the arrest. We have Natalie Pirantonis. And, here's what I don't get. And you can juxtapose this with, we had a family who was searching for their child for the last several days, and it was absolutely breaking their heart. And you can tell that this family would do anything at all to protect and preserve their child. And then you have a situation where a woman who has a child apparently enjoys fentanyl more than she likes her child. And I don't get it, because You know, back in my day, to sound like the old codger, to sound like the old geezer. Back in my day, parents would do anything for their kids. And parents would make all sacrifices. And the moment you became a parent, in fact, this is the thing I tell people. And all of you who are parents will get this, and those of you who are not parents will not get this. But I often, when young people that I know are about to become parents, I will always say to them, you have no idea that the world is about to change completely for you forever. And they always go, yeah, I know. And I go, I know. You think you know, but you don't know. Because your brain, most of us who are sane, most of us who are sane, our brains get rewired when we become parents. And our brains get rewired to think, I have to do whatever I have to do to make sure that this little person is protected, is safe, is fed, is guided down the right path. I mean, it really, your brain gets rewired so that everything becomes about making sure that that child is taken care of. That child gets what that child needs. The right things are done for that child. And so when I see somebody who just completely takes leave of that basic rewiring, I don't get it. It just blows me away. So anyway, you see that happening down in Camden. Let's we'll go to that in just a sec. Let's go to the comments here. See what the chats are talking about here. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Prayers to the family. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Suicides are hardest to work and break family. Yeah, they really are. You were an officer of the law, you know. Even for my brother, many brothers from the military have done it with no notice. Talk about it. Yes, talk about it, please. That is a kind of a high horse I've ridden for a long time, and a lot of different things have led up to my feeling that way. When you first get into the news business, they're very, like, a lot of newsrooms are very, well, you don't talk about, unless it's some high profile celebrity type person, you don't talk about suicides. You don't report on suicides. You don't. And I don't know that that's the right approach, because I don't know that that helps solve anything. And again, you know, a lot of it is, I had a good friend a few years ago, and I got a call from his sister who said, he had gone and killed himself. He'd sent a note to his family letting them know he loved them, and then took care of himself. And, you know, he'd been restless apparently, and a little down about a few things. But it wasn't anything that I think anybody thought that. And honestly, he was always kind of cranky. So I wouldn't have thought anything of it. Hadn't talked to him in a few months. And, then you get that call, and it just doesn't make sense to you. And, the one thing, the immediate thing you think when that kind of thing happens is, I want my friend back. I want my friend back now. And I want to know why my friend decided to do this. And the answers are never, the answers are never really easily forthcoming. And, permanent fix to temporary. Absolutely. The pain's transferred to everyone that loves you and care. And that again is, I don't know if that resonates with somebody who's contemplating it. I really don't, but I know it's real. And I know that, everybody suffers. When you decide you want to be put out of your misery, everyone else's misery goes up tenfold, hundredfold, thousandfold. So yeah, it's the thing we need to talk about. And, as I said, there are a lot of things that are conventional wisdom that I've rejected over the years. And that's one of them. We don't report on it. We don't talk about it. We don't discuss it. And I think you do discuss it. I think you should discuss it. I think it's the right thing to do to discuss it. But, again, you also kind of have to do it within the parameters of whether the family consents to it or not. And obviously in this case they did. So there's a wreck. Hang on, I'm getting some stuff on the wreck here. Commercial vehicle overturned. It's on 95 right before the Buc-ee's exit. Yeah, that looks kind of rough too. That is I don't know what that is commercial vehicle wise. I'm looking at the video now. I don't have that uploaded. because I just got it. But yeah, I-95 North is a standstill at exit 49. There's a reason for that. There's a wreck. There's a commercial vehicle overturned. And I've got a video of it that I have not shared with you. I guess I could. Can you see? See, there you go, right there. That's it. Yep, right there. So, no. It's, it's at 42. Yeah, because it's the Buc-ee's exit. You're absolutely right. So do exercise caution if you're heading out that way. If that's a thing you've got to do today, please pay attention to that, because that is going to slow you up. No doubt about it. All right, let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about Bo Clark. Let's talk about Aldi. This is what Bo Clark says. Let's talk about Aldi and the owners of the Hyde Park store location. First of all, Aldi, your sign looks nice out front. It's stupid, but nice looking. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the logo. I mean, here's the thing. Aldi as a store is very European, which is the thing I don't really care for about it. The Aldi logo is a very European looking logo. And so again, it doesn't really do much for me. It's a cart in front of the horse situation. As a resident of South Glen and a sitting commissioner, the people of West Glen, Camden County, Brantley, Blythe Island, and the tri-area community would like you to either work it out or take your sign down. We've had a grocery store since 2007, but that went away, not because it was not doing great, but because of corporate stupidity and the lack of a good plan. One has to wonder what the hell you're thinking, or maybe that's just it. You just don't know how. And I don't know what's public consumption and what isn't, but the reality of that Aldi remodel at exit 29, and I've seen a number of people talk about it, and sadly I've seen a lot of people. Hang on a second, let's do this really quickly. Let's put this up here. There we go. Now there we go. Okay, hang on, it's got to fix itself. There we go. All right, so let's talk about this situation. The Aldi remodel. My understanding is they did go into the whole process of doing the remodel from Winn-Dixie to Aldi without getting the permission of the owner of the building. So they got their oh wow. Okay, so that, by the way, really quickly, I know I'm jumping around here, but the crash at exit 42 is a fatality. So that changes a lot of things, because that goes from let's just get everything out of the way to we are now working a not a crime scene, but we're working a scene. And that means you're probably going to have accident reconstruction teams out there, and you're going to be blocked off for a while on that northbound at exit 42. So just know that that's a thing out there. If you're headed that way this morning, that is a fatality. That crash that we showed you a little bit of that. It's I don't know. It almost looks kind of like you can't really tell what kind of vehicle it is, but it's some kind of a commercial vehicle, whether it's a U-Haul or I can't tell what it is. But anyway, it is that area is closed and there is a fatality. So again, please throw some prayers up for those folks and their families, because obviously this is not what you have on the agenda for the day when you get up and you start going to work or whatever it is you're doing. All right, let's get back to the Aldi thing. My understanding on this Aldi thing, and pretty darn well sourced, is that the rumor that has circulated, which is that the Aldi people started transforming the store without the permission of the owner, is 100% correct. And that it does involve some structural changes. I mean, changing the sign on the front of a building is one thing, but apparently it does involve building a wall or two. And so, now you're getting into structural changes to the building, and the owner of the actual building was never consulted, from my understanding. And the owner of the building, not happy about it. And the other thing that I'm hearing, and again, take this where you got to take it, the owner of the building, not a fan of Aldi to start with. So one of a couple of things is going to have to happen. Aldi is either going to have to just, they're going to have to negotiate their way out of that deal, and the owner of that facility will have to find a new grocery store to go in there. Aldi will reach some kind of a strange deal where they can actually do it, but I think it's going to take a lot, because again, my understanding is the owner and his wife are not predisposed to being Aldi fans in the first place. So a deal doesn't look likely to me, unless again, I mean, money talks. Let's be honest here too. So, and again, this is just me throwing out stuff into the ether. So you take it for what it's worth. But then somebody else has to be found and brought in once the deal is finally done with Aldi. Or, Aldi, do they own any other brands they can use? They pretty much sold off Winn-Dixie after they bought it. They took, the Winn-Dixies they had, convert them, sold off the other ones. The one at 341 will never become an Aldi. Well, I say never. You never, no, there's no river long enough doesn't have a bend, but that Aldi or that Winn-Dixie at exit 36 is it's been bought by different people now, so the plan is for it to stay as Winn-Dixie. Aldi does not own that one, so but I'm sure they have other grocery store brands and maybe they work it out that way. I don't know, but it is a mess for people here who do not want to have to go to Dollar General for groceries. It does say something about the amount of privilege we enjoy in our society where there's a lot of, I don't want to have to drive 20 minutes to go to a grocery store. but that is the privilege apparently that we enjoy as a society right now. So people want a grocery store in this area. And the inconvenience for us is we didn't shop at the Winn-Dixie normally as our regular grocery store and we tried it when they remodeled it and we thought, well, this is going to be better. Let's give it a shot. They just didn't have everything we wanted. They just didn't carry everything that we felt we needed. So we still drive into town and we drive into Publix. But that having been said, when oh gosh, we're out of this. Oh gosh, we need this. Can you run down and get this real quick? It was great for that. And now that it's not there at all, there's an issue there. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, the reality is what happened there was they got started changing a building without permission of the building's owner. And the building's owner not happy about it. And I'm trying to figure out what the reasonable resolution is to this. And just based on the extenuating circumstances that I've kind of laid out here for you, I don't know what those are. I don't know. I don't know how this ends. I don't know how this resolves. But obviously, it's going to have to in some way, shape, fashion, or form, or else. All right. What else do we have here? Oh yes, this. Holy cow, Ware County. And I'll just give you a little bit of this. And let's see. What? That's not it. Yeah, GBI press release. Ware County yesterday. The GBI and the Ware County Sheriff's Office arrested and charged 6 people following a multi-agency child sexual abuse investigation led by the GBI and the Ware County Sheriff's Office involving multiple victims in several counties. The Clinch County Sheriff's Office and the Charlton County Sheriff's Office requested the GBI to assist in the investigation. The following people were arrested. And this is the thing that just gets me about this. We've talked about this before, where they will have these major stings. And they will go after and they'll round up all these people and they'll put them away. And then somehow several months later, they have another major sting and arrest more people. It's just like, that's the thing that really gets frustrating to me is that like they do this over and over and over again. And there's a fountain of people. They're just, it amazes me how many people are involved in this nonsense. Joel Christopher Heath, age 42 of Blackshear, charged with aggravated child molestation, aggravated sodomy, child exploitation, and child molestation. Teresa Bryant, age 55 of Alma, charged with sex trafficking, aggravated sexual battery, aggravated child molestation, aggravated sodomy, and first-degree cruelty to a child. Betty Sue Corbett, age 60. What, again, in the realm of old enough to know better. Charged with child exploitation. Elizabeth Delk, 48 of Homerville, charged with aggravated child molestation, aggravated sodomy, child exploitation, child molestation. Amber Lynn Holt, age 45 of West Columbia, South Carolina. That's right. We reached into the low country. Charged with sexual, well, that's West Columbia, maybe a little far. Aggravated sexual battery, aggravated child molestation, aggravated sodomy, first-degree cruelty to a child, and incest. In early June of 2026, Ware County Sheriff's Office arrested Heath following an investigation into a child molestation allegation. During WCSO's investigation, they discovered evidence of several additional child victims aged 13 and under located in multiple counties The investigation revealed that the crimes occurred in Ware, Charlton, Clinch, and Bacon County. And, they go from there. But just, great that they got them. But if I were in law enforcement in these positions, I think I would be massively frustrated because, it's like turning off the water hose and still having it gush out at you. It's just kind of nuts. Let's see. What have we got here on the comments? I got to get trash hauled up 95. Driver's going to be behind today. Yeah. And again, it's a fatality. So it's going to be a while. And of course you understand why. I heard all these, oh, stop it. Just stop it. That'll be closed for a few hours. Then yeah, it's going to be closed for a while. You're absolutely right. It will be a while. All these people get better, fresher produce than mainline grocery stores. Some really great coffee from Germany, Kroger and Mansfield. So Grocery Insiders is kind of, that's the sign. Well, it's the sign and the produce for me. All these different other stores, even in Ireland, Scotland. That's interesting. All these out there. Jeez. Okay. Also still will leave you wanting in some ways. Yeah. And that, the thing I hear about it is the produce. The problem I have obviously is I don't care about produce. So it kind of leaves me, let's put IGA or PIG in there. Well, IGA is, what IGA stands for, Independent Grocers Association. So those are IGAs. IGAs are basically a collective. They're not, it's not a chain per se. It's people buying into it and then, being part of a bigger thing to get larger purchasing power and that kind of thing. So an independent person would have to decide that they wanted to open an IGA. Good morning. Happy Wednesday, hump day. Hope you all have a great day. We hope you have a great day as well. Checked out on Aldi the other day, kind of reminded me of going to a discount food bank. Probably won't be. Well, again, it's a different thing. And people who love it, love it. People who love it, absolutely love it. My daughter is over the moon about it. And so I was excited when they were coming here because I thought, okay, this is that thing everybody loves. And then I went in and I didn't love it. Again, it's very European, and everything I hear is the produce is great, but that I don't eat fruits or vegetables. So, what I see is the products that I would get off the shelf are largely. It's like, remember the 80s when they started making all the generic stuff, and now like generics are really, really good, but in the 80s, not so much. But they did that because groceries were so expensive because we had all that late 70s, early 80s inflation, and everything was like packaged in white boxes with black writing on it and everything. And it just kind of reminds me of a bunch of generic stuff from the 80s. Yes, indeed. 100%. No, that's what I said. It's not really, it's a little too far to be low country. 66 where you are. That must be nice. Can I move the graphic to the right? Is that urgent to you? The reason I'm not is because there's a lot of negative space over here. So I'm just kind of leaving it. Let's see. Why doesn't Coastal Market come out there? I don't know. You'll have to ask the Coastal Market people that. Fair question. Victims ranged from 3 to 13 years old. Just awful. Absolutely awful. Just a giant. I think they would probably take umbrage at that. I think Aldi would probably take umbrage at that. But, part of the problem is that right now, what we have is we have Dollar General here, and that's it. That's it. Nothing else. Aldi has great salmon. See, again, that's the thing. Like, maybe this is why Aldi doesn't click with me so much. Because it's like they have great produce. I don't eat produce. They have great salmon. I don't eat fish. Maybe that's my problem. And you love the Isle of Shame. I don't know what the Isle of Shame is. Please talk to me about that. Tell me what that is, because I don't know. I need a wiggly piggly. It's a little backwards. Still can't find what I'm looking for. Yeah, I understand. Basic with the white label. Yeah, that's the old generic stuff. My main issue with Aldi is the bag thing. I use those plastic grocery bags for many things, and not having them means I'm not shopping there. Also, those cowboy ads are really. I have not seen the cowboy ads. Now I have to be on the lookout for something else to be angry. Yeah, because what is life unless we can just sit and be really angry about stuff? That seems to be what a lot of talk radio is, unfortunately. Is let's make people angry. And me, I'm not all for that. But good morning or night from us in the island of Rota. Oh, very nice. Very nice. And how are you, Chad? Good to see you. Hope you're ready because, we're in the midst of hurricane season. We may need you. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So we had two big things happen yesterday. I got sent pictures from both, and they both were happening at almost the same time. One of which was a wreck on Altama towards the north end of Altama. And as that was going on, Glen Canny police were chasing two juveniles. The wreck on Altama wound up with an SUV on its side. And you're like, whoa. I mean, it was striking visual if you saw any of the pictures. And a lot of the pictures are circulating because not only did I get sent several, then I got to trivia and people were showing me their pictures, which were different. So, that having been said, let's take a look at the Glen County Police Department press release on July 14th, 2026 at approximately 5:49 p.m. Approximately? I don't want to be critical here, but when you say 5:49, that's really not approximate. A Glen County police officer located a vehicle that had been reported stolen earlier in the day. When the officer attempted to conduct a traffic stop, the driver fled, leading officers on a pursuit through the Golden Isles Parkway area. And this was happening. Okay, so when you think about Golden Isles Parkway area, you're talking about the spur. And now let's talk about the north end of Altama, which is semi kind of parallel, where you've got this major crash with the SUV that winds up on its side. And you have both of these things going on at once. During the pursuit, the stolen vehicle reached high speeds and drove recklessly before crashing into three vehicles at the intersection of Golden Isles Parkway and Canal Road. So again, just kind of very similar spots. After the crash, both occupants fled on foot, but were quickly apprehended by responding officers. In fact, when people sent me the pictures of the SUV on its side on Altama Avenue, originally they were going, yes, and people fled from this. And wait, no, that was a totally different thing. So, I mean, people were confusing these because they were happening at the same time. The driver, identified as a juvenile offender, which means they're not going to put his name out, was charged with theft by receiving stolen property, fleeing or attempted to elude a police officer, hit and run, obstruction, failure to obey a traffic control device, and driving without a valid license. But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how'd you like the play? The passenger, also identified as a juvenile offender, was charged with obstruction. Both juveniles were transported to a local hospital for evaluation before being turned over to the juvenile justice system. The driver was later transported to the YDC. Ooh. Georgia State Patrol is investigating the traffic crash. 3 uninvolved vehicles were involved in the collision. No further information is being released at this time due to the offenders' ages. And and that was happening again at the same time as that other big crash that was taking place. This was interesting and odd. And I don't know if you've seen this one or not, but this is a Florida story. I grabbed it from WTOC, and this is a guy. There was a murder in 1987, December 28th. Woman, blunt force trauma. She's beaten to death. 20-year-old mom beaten to death, found her in her home. And so this really old guy, 50 years later, and he's 70, so do the math there, same age, calls the police and in Clay County and says, hey, I have some information about that case. Remember that murder 50 years ago? I have some information about it. Well, the information that he had apparently was that he did it, which is information, I guess. And so they came and they got him and they took him away and locked him up in the Duval County Jail. So yeah, he's done. And that's going to be, we'll follow it as it continues, obviously. But yeah, this is a story. This one kind of, do I not have the first part of this? All right. No, there's a story in the paper of record today. Oh yeah, I do have that. Where it didn't upload. Oh, darn it. Curse the luck. All right. So we'll just have to talk about it for half a second. There's a story. Michael Hall's got a story. EPA eyeing redevelopment as Superfund sites progress. And I'm just going to say it. Well, you know what? I'll save that. Let's go to the comments first because they're stacking up. And we'll make sure that we get all this taken care of. Brand new stuff. Their salmon is foreign pond raised. Oh, so in other words, it's not as good as the city market salmon, is what you're telling me. I don't eat seafood, but I'm a big fan of the people at City Market. I'm a big fan of the Owenses at City Market. I like them a lot. And I always wish them success and prosperity. And plus, it's such a classic Glenn County business, city of Brunswick business, really. So yeah, I oppose the foreign pond raised stuff, even though I personally am not partaking. Satilla Grocery could work. Well, tell Dr. Strickland. I would most definitely accept that. We were just in Satilla Grocery at exit 36 area, Sterling, last night, and it's a fine institution. But my adult grandchildren told me about a young man who jumped off Sydney Litter Bridge and survived. He's a father of two and a comedian in Savannah. He tells people how he felt as soon as he jumped. Wow. That's a story. And I maybe we need to talk to him. Maybe we need to put him on there. It's the aisle with random items, home decor, sometimes clothing, outdoor items at great prices. They've got a cult following. They do definitely have a cult following, no doubt. 3 uninvolved vehicles were involved. I don't ask these questions. I think Aldi's is also the place that sometimes sells Disney themed things. I don't understand what that means. Because I feel like everybody sometimes sells Disney themed things. Disney's kind of pervasive in our culture. Law enforcement, you always say around or approximately so they can't hem you down in court as to whose watch did you use. Lawyers ruin everything. I don't know, but just for the benefit of us lay people, say 550. It makes us feel better. Because when you say approximately, you're looking for a round figure. And then all of a sudden you get approximately 549. Approximately 549? Really? Is it the seconds that's bothering you? Approximately 549 and 17.2 seconds. I don't know. I don't understand it. Let's see. People complain about all these, like me complaining about CrossFit. All right. Let's see. Have you heard anything about the county changing its retirement requirements for public safety? No, I have not. Is that a thing? Should I ask about that? Is that a thing? Chad says he's ready. Chad, by the way, is with Mountain to Sea Ministries. Mountain to Sea Ministries do great work. Chad's a local kid, but they do stuff all around the world. I mean, when the war broke out in Ukraine, they were on the ground in Ukraine helping people. They go where nobody else can go. They go where nobody else wants to go. And they're fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic. Great folks. And they're already working. Wow. They're already working out near Guam. So there you go. Yeah. They're doing their thing. It's the season for it. 'Tis the season. All the catnip cat scratch house is 100% my cat's favorite thing. Those are great snacks. Okay. So far, we've been told they have great produce, great salmon, and great cat things. This is exactly why I think I have an aversion to Aldi's, because none of that matters to me. But no, you can't get everything there. You're absolutely right. That's the big thing to me. I like to go to one place, get everything, and then go. And I find Publix to be a very fine institution. Let's see. I've been gone for almost 9 years, but what happened to Harvey's? Harvey's got bought up. Harvey's got it was all part of that Southeastern Grocers, I think. And then Southeastern Grocers went bankrupt. Aldi came in and bought them out. And then Southeastern Grocers kind of reconstituted and bought back some of the Winn-Dixies. So there you have that. Let's see. What do you eat? Meat. I eat meat. That's what I eat. Let's see. Correct, JD. They have tons of Disney items. But doesn't everybody? How did bacon do last night? Oh, that's a trivia question. We had trivia last night at Max. And great turnout. I think we had 13 teams. Really, really good turnout. Bacon did not do well last night. Maybe you could lord that over them. Mountain to Sea was one of the few entities that really helped the Brantley. Yeah, and they did early on. And Chad reached out to me right away and was like, do you know people? And I just kind of went, yeah, I know people. Because I knew immediately people. I mean, you're one of those people that just lost everything when the Brantley fire started. The Ammonses, another family, just great people. who lost everything, not, no fault of their own. And Mountain to Sea got in there, hit the ground, and started helping people immediately. And that's the great thing. You wonder why people like private charitable things. Sometimes you let them do some things you don't let the government do. That's because the government needs, there are things the government has to do and certain requirements and certain ways they have to do things and that kind of thing. That just, like a Mountain to Sea they don't have to do that, because they can just go in and do what they feel like they need to do. And so to me, that's the beauty of that. Let's take a look really quickly, because Menorcan Mullet is reminding me you do need to like. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. That helps us out with the algorithm. And of course, we've been trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we were at 972, trying to bust through 1,000, because the algorithm is much kinder to you once you pass 1,000 subscriptions. So we're at 972, guys. It's totally free, totally free. 28 people away. That's all it's going to take. That's all it's going to take. Yep. So you got people watching. Hit the like button. Just hit the like. It helps us out. And right now we have to help it out. I'm not going to say that. It's the Big Lots. Well, but see, I think the Aldi's fans, and I'm trying to channel the Aldi's people, I think they would take issue with that, because Big Lots is all leftover stuff nobody else could sell. And I think with the produce thing, I think Aldi take real pride in like reasonably locally sourced produce and very fresh and that kind of thing. Wait till you see a fleet of Aldi trucks going to hurricane-stricken area like a sea public. Yeah, I don't know that you're going to see that. I don't know that you're going to see that. 28 more. Yep, we're 28 away from 1,000. You are correct, and we're watching it and keeping an eye there and see. Still that. So please subscribe. Please encourage people to subscribe. A lot of people have been out there doing their thing, trying to get people to subscribe, and I appreciate that. So we get to 1,000, and good things will happen. We went from 800 to 900 and just like that. And then from there, it's kind of slowed down a little bit. So, but we're this close. We are that close. A reminder again, really quickly, before we go to our next item here, a reminder that I will not be streaming Monday or Tuesday of next week. We had a trip booked, and we had it booked months ago, and it was paid for. And, honestly, I'm very okay with going and doing that. So, it's the other funny thing is, we talk about spreading the word by getting subscriptions to the channel, but also just spread the word about what we're doing here. And the reason I say that is that I'm still getting people and friends. I had a friend, good old friend, call me yesterday. He said, I've been out of town. I came back. I was listening for a couple of days. I thought you were on vacation, but apparently you're not. There are people who still don't know what's going on. There are people who still think it's business as usual at the radio station, but that I just went on vacation. And clearly I can't go on the radio station and go, hey, I'm on vacation, which I actually, at one point, they were actually playing me saying, hey, I'm on vacation. I don't know if they are or not at this point, but get the word out about that too. Get the word out about what's going on here, because we definitely need the support. And we've had a lot of people, again, trying to help us. Now, let me get into this Michael Hall story in the paper of record. This is the one that's probably going to tick some people off. EPA eyeing redevelopment as Superfund sites progress. A marshfront mixed-use development, a par 3 golf course, an active commercial and industrial operation. All are options the Georgia Environmental Protection Agency envisions for redevelopment and reuse at the active Superfund environmental cleanup sites in Glen Caney. Then go on to a list of the whole, all the different sites and everything. And we're getting close. We're getting close. I got to tell you something. This has been a decades-long, dare I say it, grift. And, they did that study the other day. And they found, well, look at all of these toxins that are in all of these people's blood in their system, and they've been here for decades. But are they suffering major health effects because of it? I mean, again, the big thing that everybody made a huge deal about was the cancer rate. And some guy sent me last time I mentioned this, some guy sent me this really stupid, angry note. And because everybody would go around and say, oh, the cancer rate in Glenn County is way above everybody else's. It's a super high rate. And the reason is because of all the Superfund sites and all of the pollution and all the chemicals. And so, that sent me to start looking at cancer numbers. And it turns out that Glenn County is exactly in the middle of the pack in cancer rates. We're not way higher than anybody else. We're not way lower than anybody else. We're right in the middle of the pack. And we have a really old community. The average age in Glenn County is over 40. And yet still, the cancer rate in Glenn County is middle of the pack. So, that hasn't been caught. Now, the angry note I got from the guy was, you said you were going to give us the figure, but you didn't tell us anything about low birth rates and, all this other nonsense. And it was like, yeah, I didn't tell you anything about that because that wasn't the thing people were saying. Why would you look into something? I also didn't do UFO abductions that could be caused by the Superfund sites because nobody was sitting there saying, we've got more UFO sites and UFO abductions because of the Superfund sites. But they were saying that we have a ridiculously high cancer rate, which we don't. It's not borne out by the stats. But after that guy sent me that dumb note, I did go, well, let's look at the, underweight births. And it's like, there are some, but we also have a very, poor section of town where that is common anyway. But there aren't a lot of massive health fallouts from all of these Superfund sites that we've spent, hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer money, your money, cleaning up and cleaning up and cleaning up. And, the article, as it's written in the paper, and I think Michael's an honest guy, it's really about, how do we keep going on? How do we, because, once you clean up the site, you should step out and go away, right? But I don't think there's any intention of anybody to step out and go away. I think this is the thing they want to continue and continue and continue ad infinitum. And then you get to this part of the whole thing. Rachel Thompson, executive director of the Glenn Environmental Coalition, knows as well as anyone that getting to this point has taken a long time. What is this point? The point is that it's about done. And again, they've got to try to figure out a way to not have it be done. Her organization monitors each project and disseminates information about them to promote community engagement in the process. That engagement will be among the most important aspects of redevelopment and reuse considerations, she said. Why? Why? I mean, somebody owns that land. So, it's not the public's land. I'm sorry to tell you guys this. Somebody owns it, and if they want to do something with it, they're more than entitled to do something with it. As long as it's legal. The powers that be need to be the powers that be need to include the community, she said. The powers that be. I've got a great Lindsey Graham quote on that, by the way. They. And it's something I talk about a lot too, so I thought it was hilarious that I found that. But the powers that be need to include the community, she said. The conversation for us, and what that means is you have to let us stay here. We've inserted ourselves into this situation so that we can get some power and some clout and some money, and we're about to lose our foothold in this. So we're now saying you've got to continue letting us be part of this because we're not going to lose our grip on power and clout, et cetera. Look, I'm going to tell you, my belief on a lot of Superfund site cleanup stuff is that it's very much the same as welfare stuff and DEI stuff and affirmative action stuff, which is go in, find a problem, and then never solve it because the people involved are benefiting from it. Sorry, I'm just saying it. The conversation for us is, now that it's gone through the cleanup process and it's ready for reuse, what kind of activity should it be? It's not your concern. Again, that has nothing to do with you. That's an overstep. The cleanups must also be scientifically sound and complete before any redevelopment, Thompson said. There are still issues of groundwater contamination, containment of pollution, and other things at all the sites that must be addressed before redevelopment becomes reality. In other words, they'll never be happy or satisfied with the cleanup there. They'll never be happy because then they're out of it. And they can't ever be out of it. But to dictate what happens, to demand that they be a conduit for dictating what happens on this land once it's ready to be reused is insane. I'm sorry. That's for the landowners and whoever they sell it to, and for the zoning people and for the infrastructure people, not for the environmental people. Sorry, it's not. It's this whole thing is way, way, way longer than it should ever have been. Up to 977. Good. We're 23 away. That'd be great. That would be fantastic. Why weren't the Hercules employees who handled toxaphene part of the study? My uncle and dad came home smelling it on their clothes for years. Both died in their upper 80s. And my uncle Gene worked at Hercules for years and years and years, and he died in his upper 80s. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe a toxaphene keeps you from living into your 90s. Been meaning to say, I love the intro, but you got to get music on the countdown too now. Give me time. I'm using the tools that are there because I haven't got, give us time. Just give us time. That's all I ask. Subscribe on all three. Hey, whatever works for now. Whatever works for now. What are we up to right now? 984. So we're 16 away. We're 16 away. Ward's Toy. What is that? By the way, tell me about Ward's Toys. What is that and what does that mean? I'm curious now. I'm curious about that. All right. So back to the story. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think, it's one of those situations where you take something that is a real and legitimate concern, which is, toxic chemicals and that kind of thing, and you blow it up far bigger than it really is or should be, and then you sit and profit by it. And of course, you can't ever solve the problem. That's the big dirty little secret about most government things is you can't solve the problem. Because if you solve the problem, the money goes away, the power goes away, the clout goes away. You can't solve the problem. All right, really quickly now. 3 arrested for alleged involvement in weekend carjacking. 3 men were arrested over the weekend. At least we get these names. For allegedly hijacking a vehicle. Officers were called on Saturday morning at approximately. No? Oh, darn it. Let's see. Incident in which a man was approached by 3 people, one of whom brandished a handgun and ordered him to vacate the vehicle. That was Brunswick Villa. Oh, that's sad. I know Brunswick Villa. I hate it. I hate it because when my dad, my grandparents first moved here from Fernandina, they set up in Brunswick Villa. That was before they built their house in Country Club Park. Before the Country Club Park house was built, they lived in Brunswick Villa. So I just, I have fondness. And plus, I went to Brunswick High. So Brunswick Villa was right there. If you went to Thompson's Grocery afterwards to get snacks, as we sometimes did, you were right there at Brunswick Villa. So it's a little, just a little heartstring tugging there to see that Brunswick Villa is the site of something terrible like this. The man made off with his vehicle that contained about $2,000 worth of power tools, his wallet, and his cell phone, police said. Not long after, the victim's car was found abandoned nearby. After processing the scene using a variety of investigative techniques, I would like to hear more. We don't get more, though. Officers were able to identify all 3 suspects. They executed search warrants and arrested all 3. 44-year-old Reginald Copeland of Brunswick was charged with armed robbery and hijacking a motor vehicle. 33-year-old Ronald Williams of Glen Canny was charged with being party to armed robbery and hijacking. Antonio Antoine Fisher, 43, of Brunswick, was charged with armed robbery. Why do I feel, and hijacking? Why do I feel like we've covered him before? Why does that name stick out to me? Anybody? Bueller, class, anybody? Antonio Antoine Fisher. Why do I feel like that's the thing? Your grandpa was 89 and worked at Hercules. Well, there you go. There you go. People seem to have lived into their 80s in Hercules. Maybe toxaphene is the great giver of life. Have we done a study on that? Because we know all these people lived in their 80s and worked at Hercules and were right around the toxaphene. Don't know. Anyway, grandfather owned Thompson's. We loved going down there when we could. Now, my parents had a lot more restrictions on me than a lot of other parents. And you know what? I'm better for it because I was prone to just being a nut. And that probably kept me out of a lot of trouble. But I didn't get to do it a lot, but we would when we could, we'd go down to Thompson's and get stuff. It was great. Just a couple blocks down from Brunswick High. Easy. I loved that little corner door thing. That aesthetic still gets me. Where was it? Was it Bank Saloon in downtown Brunswick that had that same? It was one of those little bars, had that same little, enter the door on a flattened corner. I kind of dig that. Let's see. That was an example of the language of the left earlier when they say the community must be involved. The word is not community that they're thinking. It is I must maintain control over this. Absolutely 100%. That is completely and totally correct. That is exactly right. It is not community involvement. It is us. We have to say, but because you got to understand, a lot of these guys, they believe they are the community as far as the voice of we're the voice of the community. And then, it's whatever they believe. And I know this, look, I know this because honest to goodness, there was some of this that went on. I was on the redistricting committee for the school system, which they never passed a redistricting, by the way, to my knowledge. We left them with a plan. And some of that did get hijacked by some of this notion of I speak for the community and thus I know, and this is what I want to, and turned out that a lot of that was just political nonsense. And when we actually spoke to the people in the community, they did not at all support the voices of the community. So I know if you kept your boat at Terry Creek Marina, barnacles wouldn't grow on it from whatever was coming off Hercules. That sounds kind of wives' tale-y. Let's see. Oh, yes. We've got other stories. The International Criminal Court deserves dismantling. It's a piece on National Review. It's really, really good. I don't want to get into the whole thing because we've been running a long time this morning, and there are a lot of other things to get to, but that certainly is worth checking out. It's at nationalreview.com. This was interesting. New details emerging about why Governor Tim Walz's Board of Pardons gave a 42-year-old illegal immigrant gave clemency to a 42-year-old illegal immigrant convicted of repeatedly raping a child. Tim Walz, ladies and gentlemen. Documents reviewed by Fox News Digital show that while the two board members who voted against granting a pardon noted the serious nature of Tu Lu Vang's offenses, the four who recommended a pardon each listed concerns about him being deported. So they literally, that means politics entered into this. Hear me now, believe me later. That's what this is. Politics entered in. So these guys went, yes, this guy was horrible. He's awful. He's here illegally. He's done a terrible thing. But if we don't give him clemency, he could get deported. And we can't have people getting deported. Why? Because Donald Trump wants that. And if Donald Trump wants it, then by golly, we can't do it. That's one of those things we've got to get over. That's one of the things we gotta not do anymore. Sorry. I open up collectible cards like Pokemon, baseball, mostly Pokemon. Oh, interesting. So you have a YouTube channel where you do that. Well, I'm promoting your channel now. As a thanks for you subscribing, I'm going to promote your channel. So you literally, and I've seen people who do this. I've seen people and they'll go buy. I've seen people go to these conventions and buy these old boxes of cards. Steve Glosson has done it actually a number of times. And Glosson, a wonderful human being, but he's ruined some boxes of classic cards that are worth a lot of money sometimes. So interesting. And people dig stuff like that. Jamie, good morning. Redistricting is bloodletting. Let's see. Subscribing on YouTube leads me to some Google message that doesn't recognize my device. I may need to hire a technologically advanced person. Still trying. Just log in. Log in on Google. If you log in on Google, you should be okay. Most everybody has a Google account of some sort. All right, we're at 986 now. We are 14 away from 1,000. That's right, 1,000. Don't forget, again, if you're heading on 985 north today, exit 42 has got some issues. There is a fatality. There is some kind of a commercial vehicle that overturned and the person is dead. And they're working that. So Just remember that if you're making that journey today, just please know that you're going to be delayed there. Again, it's a fatality, which means you're going to get the construction or the accident reconstruction teams, the SCIRT, whatever they're called, out there, and they're going to be taking pictures, and they're going to be painting the road, and they're going to be. I mean, there's just going to be a lot going on, and it's gonna be a bit of a mess. I'll just say. Some random semi in the Love's parking lot just got to hear me for about 2 minutes before you could figure out where your audio. Oh, did you Bluetooth? Do you guys remember we had that guy, one of our Savannah listeners, and he called to start talking about something, and then his phone got picked up by his wife's car. Do you remember that? And the wife was just sitting there going, yeah, I'm watching him. He's still talking. So we were talking to his wife as the guy in the other car thought he was talking to us. Oh, that was good. That was a good one. Loved that one. Yes, as many subs as we can get. Again, we need to get over 1,000. Would love to have you. We are 14 away. Let me see. Let me refresh that and see. Okay, yes, we are 14 away. 14 away. So, good morning. Good morning. Good to have you here. But yeah, we would like to go ahead and get to 1,000. 1,000 is supposed to unlock some algorithmic possibilities for us that we had not previously been able to do. This is an interesting story out of Savannah today. This is a guy who basically rode by a friend's house on his bike. And his friend had recently passed. And the door was open and the alarm was going off at the guy's house. And so I think he's the one who called the cops. Or maybe the neighbors did. He checked it out. And then as he's driving by, he sees this massive police presence and he stares at the police. Now, police have to understand, we rubberneck. We all rubberneck. We rubberneck online. I mean, I think it's appropriate to call all the, does anybody know what the police are doing? Does anybody know why there are so many police at so-and-so? You see that all the time on Facebook. That's digital rubbernecking is what that is. And we're a society that we rubberneck. We get in people's business. It's not right, but the police decided the guy was suspicious because as he rode by on his bike, he eyeballed them. Then he ran through a stop sign, which, to be honest with you, most people on bicycles do run through stop signs. Not supposed to follow the rules of the road, but again, it's certainly worth stopping him over, but it's not really a major league thing. I'll just say that. That having been said, chaos ensued from there. They got the guy, they started questioning him, and they wound up wrestling the guy to the ground and arresting him. And it got kind of violence. So he's upset. He's speaking out, but it's worth a read. And we got that off of WSAV, our former news partner. I don't know if, that's the other thing. I don't know how the news relationship continues with the way things are at the stations now. I don't know. So anyway, let's go into some comments here. We'll take a look. What do we have so far? Good morning, Mr. Riven, number 111 here. I like that. It almost makes it feel like an episode of Mission Impossible here. Good morning, Mr. Riven. Number 111 here. Hope everyone's doing well today. And good morning, my fellow members of the 40. Had a friend ask me yesterday, what is it's still people asking about the South Georgia 40 thing. Gary says, so easy when you say it, just log in. Doesn't like my password or device. Here's the thing I know. Gary Cross of Cross Plumbing. You are one of the premier problem solvers that I have ever known in my entire life. Therefore, I think you're going to be okay. I think you'll be able to do it. All right, so let's take a look here really quickly, Brian. I call rubbernecking cops live, and when people would stop to ask what happened, I would joke and say it was a shark attack. Nice. All right, Gerald. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good to have you here. And again, you said so on YouTube, and I appreciate that. Again, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're just about done with the content for today. So we're at 987. So we're 13 away. 13 away from that magic number of 1,000 that can unlock a lot. And don't forget to like the YouTube stream as you see it. because liking it also helps the algorithm because, a lot of people checked in and they all liked it. And that's a good thing. So again, if you're on YouTube, and if you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube and subscribe just for the heck of it. And hit the bell notifications, because that way when we start that 2-minute countdown to come on, it'll be there. But yes, over time, somebody complained there's no music on the countdown. And it's like, dude, give me time. I'm building this from scratch, and most of my days, that's the dumbest thing to me is I don't have a job right now. And I thought that was just going to be like me doing whatever I wanted to all day. There was almost a certain, I could have a really nice little, vacation here. No. In fact, one of the things I thought I'm going to get to play my guitar. I will be a really good guitar player by the time I get back to working. And I played it once. Saturday night for about 15 minutes. And then somebody called, hey, I need to. And it's like, okay, well, I'm done. And that's it. So, yeah. We the 40. We are they who listen and respond. We are the ones who are involved and interact. We are listeners. We are citizens. We the people. I love it, Stephen. I love it. Good morning, Ricky. So where do we stand now as far as being listeners and responding and reacting? Are we still at 987? Are we closer to 1,000? 988. Okay, so it's just, oh man, this is like Chinese water torture. It's just like drip, drip, drip. All right, so I got to tell you, I've got some other things I have to do this morning. So I do have to cut this short in just a little bit, but I had one last little thing that I wanted to get into with you guys. And this is a Lindsey Graham quote. And this is from The Atlantic, which honestly, and there's an F-bomb in there, but you know what? We're not in FCC territory at this juncture. So I will not read that out of deference to people who do not want to hear it. I get it, but it's pretty epic. When I was first elected to the House, this is Lindsey Graham, I looked for they who run things. And you know me, I've talked about this for a long time. They. Who are they? They who know how things really work. They who know what they're doing. But I couldn't find they. After that, he went on. I went to the Senate, but there was still no they. And then I started to get invited to the White House and to closed-door briefings and to meetings with top officials. No they. What I finally realized, he concluded, is that there is no they. There's only we, and we usually don't know what the bleep we're doing. So, I think that sums it up pretty nicely. And it's always good to see those last things. I regret never. Well, Hunter, you'll have another chance. That's the good news. You'll have another chance. we largely have a deal. And it's just a matter of when can we execute it? And when can I talk about it? And right now, there are some obstacles that are keeping me from legally being able to do that. And in fact, Monday things got really weird, which is why we're looking for another document from iHeart, because I can't talk about this either right now. But let me just say, it's crazier than you think it is, and I'll leave it there. Yeah, you thought you were going to be able to read that book I sent you cover to cover. And that's not a cover to cover book, man. That's a toilet book. That's a bathroom book. That is a book that you just open randomly and look at for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you put down until the next time you're in the bathroom. Let's see. Every time I tried calling, I had to hang up and go back to work. We'll get you on at some point, because things will happen. I promise. So again, all right, somebody just sent me a note. Have everyone share the YouTube link on their Facebook pages to tell me. Well, a lot of people have. A lot of people have done that. And so certainly, yes, we encourage it. I see it a lot on Facebook where people are sharing the link to the YouTube page. The YouTube page is youtube.com/@ScottRifen. And you have to put the @ there. And then you go and subscribe. We're at 990 now. We're 10 away from that 1,000. And I'm going to have to knock this off in just a little bit. So it's Take a Guitar Out Wednesday. Yeah. Now, they may strike a deal with me just to keep me off the air and not competing. Well, and that's part of it is that's what they want to do, but the deal's terrible. Again, I think a lot of this, and I don't mean this in any way that's negative to people, but I think they're used to dealing with radio people who travel from town to town, who get paid very little and need all of that to just get by, or maybe have some really bad habits. And that's not me. I squirreled some money away. I've got enough that we can get by for a while, while talking this out. But what they offered was piddly. And again, I think they're just used to dealing with people who will take whatever they can get. And I'm not that guy. So there are issues. And I hate that there are issues, because I'd like this to be done. I would like this to be on the radio right now, and on YouTube, and on Facebook, and a newsletter, which we're talking about, which is great. We're talking about a news page. I mean, there's so many different things. I can't really tell you about everything that's going on right now, but there are a lot of really cool things that are being discussed that are only being held up because I can't legally go do it yet. But I mean, here are the time frames. Here are the timelines, basically. What I would like to do is roll everything out in August. iHeart would like me to either wait until October or January. And I'm just not there. I'm just, and again, I shouldn't have to be there. So again, it's a thing. We'll talk about it some other time, I promise. But for right now, I got to get rolling. Mrs. Reifin needs me for something, and that is my priority. No offense to you guys. You're my number 2. We're at 993 already. So yeah, we may be at 1,000 in just a few minutes. We'll see. But we're at 993. We're 7 away from 1,000. We want to bust through 1,000 and go past 1,000, so that if we lose anybody, but yeah, that's the thing. So we've got a few people asking for numbers, being part of the South Georgia 40. I appreciate that. The problem is I gotta go. But hold on to that. Come back tomorrow. Ask me tomorrow. I try to give away 3 a day. I haven't today, and I apologize for that. We've just had a lot of content, a lot of good comments and everything. So that having been said, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you have a great day. Be careful. Be good to yourselves. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 7. Nothing Monday or Tuesday. So when you don't see me Monday or Tuesday, don't panic. Have a great day. Be careful. Stay hydrated.